Good morning and welcome to the May 21st, 2025 Disciplinary Petition Committee meeting. My name is Jessica Crowley, chairperson of the committee meeting today. Before we begin, I would like to welcome Claudia Mercado to the board. We're hoping that she hops on, but if not, that's okay. Claudia was recently appointed to the board by the Senate Rules Committee, and I look forward to working with Claudia. I'd like to remind everyone present that the board is a consumer protection agency charged with administering and enforcing pharmacy law, where protection of the public is inconsistent with other interests to be sought or promoted. The protection of the public shall be paramount. As I facilitate this meeting, I will announce when we are accepting public comment. I've advised the meeting moderator to allot 3 minutes to each individual providing comments. We will begin with public comments for individuals attending in person, followed by public comments by individuals participating via WebEx. This approach is necessary to facilitate the meeting. Before we get started, I'd like to ask staff moderating the meeting to provide general instructions.
Thank you. This is the moderator. At the appropriate time when public comment is sought, I will look for hand raises, and in order to raise your hand, ask the comment, you will see a small hand icon at the bottom of your WebEx screen. If you're logged in via a mobile device, that might be behind the 3-dot other options. And if we have any call-in users, that will be pressing *3 will raise your hand. Each speaker will have 2 minutes with a 10-second warning. That is the public comment process for this meeting.
Great, thank you so much. I'd like to now take a roll call vote to establish a quorum. KK Ja, I don't believe is attending. Claudia Mercado is not here. Jane Newell.
Here.
Thank you. Ricardo Sanchez.
I'm here.
Thank you. Maria Serpa.
Morning, licensee member present.
Thank you. And I am present. We do have a quorum. Before we move to the next agenda item, I'd like to remind committee members participating via WebEx to please remain visible on camera throughout the open portion of today's meeting. Members, if you need to temporarily turn off your camera due to challenges of internet connectivity, please remember to announce the reason for your non-appearance when you turn off your camera. Agenda item 2, public comment for items not on the agenda. We will now accept public comment for items not on the agenda. You are not required to identify yourself, but may do so. I would like to remind everyone that the committee cannot take action on these items except to decide whether to place an item on a future agenda. Members, following review of the public comments for this agenda item, I will ask members to comment on what, if any, items should be placed on a future agenda. As a reminder, this agenda item is not intended to be a discussion, rather an opportunity for members of the committee and members of the public to request consideration of an item for future placement on an agenda, at which time discussion may occur. And I'll just check in with Ann Sodergren. Do we have any public members present in the Sacramento location?
No, and the room is empty.
Okay, thank you. Moderator, we're ready for public comment from individuals via WebEx.
If you'd like to make a comment on an item for future agenda or an item that is not already on this agenda, you can look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. And we do have a request to speak from Dr. Ali Tran. I'm going to send you a request to unmute your microphone, and you'll have 2 minutes with a 10-second warning.
While that is opening, this is Ann in the Sacramento office. Apologize for the delay. There are no members of the public.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Ali, go ahead.
Hi, good morning. I'm Ali. Yeah, I'm a cost. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, we
Yeah.
can hear you.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for this opportunity to speak on Bruce's behalf. I'm currently working at Costco Pharmacy, Stockton, pharmacy manager. Bruce and I have been friends since we're—
Excuse me, I'm so sorry. This is the comment period for items not on the agenda. So if you could please hold your comment until the petitioner hearing commences. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do not see any other requests for comment, so shall I close that public comment feature?
Yes, please. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Members, if there are no items that you'd like to add on a future agenda, then we'll move on to agenda item 3. Petitions for reinstatement of licensure, early termination, or other modification of penalty. As included on the agenda, we will be considering petitions today. I would now like to turn the meeting over to Administrative Law Judge. Sorry, I think there was an update. Wim Van Rooyen, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, to preside over the hearing.
No problem. Thank you, Dr. Crowley. Can everyone hear me clearly?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Great. Let me make sure we've got all the parties on first. Ms. Jarvis, are you with us from the Attorney General?
And I see that you're unmuted, Ms. Jarvis, but we're not hearing your voice.
And I actually didn't hear Ms. Jarvis either. Ms. Jarvis? Is it just me or not hearing her?
No.
Or? Okay.
I think she's having microphone issues, I believe.
Okay. And then what about the petitioner while we're waiting? Can you hear me, sir? Sounds like there's an issue there too, but
I'm so sorry. I didn't unmute myself.
oh, no problem, sir.
Yes.
Thank you. And please tell me,
Thank you.
how do I correctly pronounce your last name? Because otherwise I will butcher it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah, if the panel and Deputy Attorney General and Your Honor wouldn't mind, Bruce would be just fine. But if you had to, Ooch is how I pronounce it.
Ooch.
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 Well, Bruce is just fine.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. And then we'll just wait till we can hear Ms. Jarvis, hopefully.
I
And
think I just got it fixed. I tried to test. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Excellent.
and
Very
Bruce, if you could start your video, Bruce, that would be a big help.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. There we
There
go.
you go.
Excellent. Oh, good. We can see you now and we can hear you. Great. Then I think we're ready to get started. All right. Good morning, everyone. We're on the record before the Board of Pharmacy's Disciplinary Committee, Department of Consumer Affairs, State of California. We're here to review a petition for early termination of probation filed by Bunaun Bruce Ooch, and that's spelled for the record Bunnaun, Bruce Bruce, Ooch Uch. This is OAH case number 2025-050-647. The agency case number is 6698, and the licensee's number at issue is RPH 48460. My name is Wim Van Rooyen, spelled W-I-M space V-A-N space R-O-O-Y-E-N. I'm an administrative law judge with the Office of Administrative Hearings for the state of California, and I've been assigned to preside over this matter. Today is May 21st, 2025. It's approximately 9:09 a.m. This matter is noticed for hearing at 9 a.m. We are conducting and recording this matter via WebEx. We have previously taken a roll call of the committee members, and we do have a quorum of the committee present to hear the petition. May I please have appearances, starting with the petitioner? If you can just state your name for the record, sir. Good morning.
Bunaun Bruce Ooch.
Good morning again, Dr. Ooch. And then on behalf of the Attorney General.
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. I am Deputy Attorney General Christina Jarvis, and I am appearing here on behalf of the Attorney General for the people of the state of California. My role is not adversarial, but it is intended to protect the public interest.
Thank you, and good morning to you, Ms. Jarvis, as well. So in terms of the procedures for this hearing, the Deputy Attorney General will proceed first to introduce the petition packet and provide us with an orientation in this matter, the procedural history, etc. After that, Bruce, and I'll just let the record reflect, you asked me to refer to you by your first name instead of, so there's no disrespect intended by using your first name. I just want to honor your wishes. So after that, you will have the right to make a presentation under oath to explain why you believe the petition should be granted. You may also call other witnesses to testify. I think there's another gentleman that's on the line, which I'm assuming you also wish to have him testify. You and any witnesses would be subject to questioning by both the Deputy Attorney General and the board members. The board is particularly concerned with rehabilitation you may have engaged in. I'm just reminding you also that the board has had the benefit of reading your petition package, so there's no need for you to repeat everything that's in there, but you can certainly highlight or emphasize any portions you think are most important or deem appropriate. And then after the hearing, the committee will go into a closed session to deliberate. There won't be a decision made today orally, but you'll receive a decision in writing in the mail at some point in the future. Any questions about any of that, Bruce, that I can address?
No, I'm quite nervous. No.
And that is entirely normal. I think just about everyone is nervous. So I just encourage you to take a deep breath and relax as much as you can. If there's any questions you have during the hearing, please let me know. I'm happy to answer. I can't give legal advice, but I can certainly answer general information. So
Yes.
Just let me know. All right, then with that, I will turn it over to you first, Ms. Jarvis, to present the petition packet and the procedural history of the case, and you can do that in whichever order you prefer.
Great, thank you, Your Honor. So this matter arose via an accusation filed on October 12, 2020, against petitioner's pharmacist license and his pharmacy license, where he was the owner and the PIC. This petition is solely for petitioner's pharmacist license. There were actually 3 pharmacy licenses involved with this matter, and all were revoked or surrendered. Now, generally, I do like to try to summarize the case with a broad statement about what the case is about, i.e., this is a billing fraud case, and this case had that. Or this is a hidden ownership case, and this case had that as well. In general, this was a failure to comply with nearly every pharmacy law there is. And this case, unfortunately, had such broad failures to comply with pharmacy law that it defies easy characterization. Therefore, I do have to encourage the board and any interested parties to read the accusation carefully. There is an approximately 10-page section for the facts of this matter, and I can't possibly provide every detail that might be important here. So preliminarily, keep in mind as I'm reading through these, the pharmacies that are at issue here. The first was Anchor Pharmacy. That's the one that petitioner owned and was PIC of at the time all of this occurred. The second is Bruce Pharmacy. Now, Bruce is the name the petitioner prefers to use, and petitioner was the 50% owner of Bruce Pharmacy from its establishment in March of 2017 until just August of 2017, after which the other 50% owner, a pharmacy tag, allegedly became the sole owner for approximately 15 months before that pharmacy closed. During those 15 months, this now 100% owner, petitioner, however, continued to be the DEA registrant for that pharmacy. Now, the third pharmacy, the Downtown Stockton Pharmacy, was owned by, quote, Bruce Enterprises, LLC, and Touch Booth, the same last name as petitioner, was the member and the manager, as well as the PIC of that pharmacy. So here this morning, whenever I refer to petitioner specifically, I'm referring to the petitioner in his activities as a pharmacist and as the owner and PIC of Anchor Pharmacy. I will refer to Bruce and Downtown Stockton Pharmacies specifically by their name. So the causes for discipline that were specifically against petitioner Oop in this matter include the first cause for discipline, unprofessional conduct. This is a large category, a large cause for discipline, and I'll just kind of run through the factors. It was for falsifying dispensing records, in that the dispensing records received by the board from petitioner at 2 different times during the investigation were not the same. Therefore, at least one set of the records had been falsified and potentially both. Petitioner dispensed generic medication in the place of brand name, even when generic was not allowed by the actual prescription. Petitioner failed to notify the DEA that he allegedly no longer owned Bruce Pharmacy, but then he also continued to act as that legal registrant for the purpose of ordering controlled substances. Petitioner failed to label dispensed medications with directions for use and identification of the contents. Petitioner refused, or more likely was unable to demonstrate to board inspectors how the pharmacy that he owned and was PIC of dispensed a prescription from beginning to end. Petitioner had inventory losses and overages that he could not account for, even with the falsified records. Now, the second cause for discipline is those shortages and overages of dangerous drugs. Petitioner failed to have adequate security and record-keeping measures in place, which led to substantial losses of at least 11 drugs. This included 268,628 milliliters of promethazine. This also included nearly 5,000 tablets of various strengths of Abilify or aripiprazole, the generic, and over 6,500 tablets of various other dangerous drugs. The third cause for discipline is the loss of dangerous drugs. Now, this relates to the Abilify or aripiprazole because petitioner had sold 1,303 tablets of Abilify 10 milligram and 1,290 tablets of Abilify 15 milligram more than he had purchased from wholesalers. This obviously is a strong indicator of billing fraud. To go right along with that, petitioner was missing 1,680 tablets of aripiprazole 10 milligrams and 980 tablets of aripiprazole 15 milligrams. These are tablets that he had purchased but not accounted for. This likely also relates to the billing fraud of dispensing generic aripiprazole in place of the brand name Abilify, which the prescriptions did not allow. So the fourth cause for discipline was that petitioner had failed to notify the DEA when the ownership of Bruce Pharmacy allegedly became fully owned by the other partner. The fifth cause for discipline was petitioner dispensing dangerous drugs without having appropriate labeling. Essentially, from the description, petitioner would just rubber band pieces of paper to blister packs with some labeling information on those papers. Now, these papers obviously are easily lost, and they still did not contain the identification of the contents of the blister packs, any beyond use dates, and many also failed to contain the directions for administration. The sixth cause for discipline is where the other pharmacies start to come into play. Petitioner would transfer prescriptions from Bruce Pharmacy and Downtown Stockton Pharmacy, but failed to do so in compliance with literally any statute or regulation guiding this practice. Petitioners simply essentially treated all three pharmacies as one single entity, even though they purportedly had different ownership, PICs, and staff. Similarly, the seventh cause for discipline is that petitioner dispensed prescriptions without a valid hard copy of the prescription from the prescriber. Petitioner would receive and fill prescriptions from care homes, which were provided by non-prescriber eligible care home staff. The eighth cause for discipline is that petitioner would dispense prescriptions pursuant to oral prescriptions that were not reduced to writing. They were not initialed or identified in any way as an orally transmitted prescription. Now, while this is similar to the previous cause for discipline I just explained, this really highlights the sloppiness of these practices, because sometimes telephonic prescriptions were reduced to writing by whichever pharmacy staff received the call, and sometimes they were not. But either way, they were always filled and dispensed. Now, the ninth and 10th causes for discipline were solely against Bruce Pharmacy, and these involved returning previously sold bottles of prescription medication to common drug stock with the intent of selling the medications, and failing to maintain security because the owner, the now 100% owner, that pharmacy technician I referenced earlier, who was not a pharmacist, was a technician, had a key and the security codes to the pharmacy, which they stated they used frequently. Now, the 11th cause for discipline is that petitioner allowed the PIC at Bruce Pharmacy to use his controlled substances ordering system, or CSOS, password to order controlled substances. So this would be for the 15 months that petitioner was no longer in any way involved with Bruce Pharmacy. According to the documentation and paperwork, Bruce Pharmacy was still using petitioner's CSOS password to order those substances. Additionally, in this cause for discipline, and obviously relatedly, There was no power of attorney for the PIC at Bruce Pharmacy, and that PIC was not registered with the DEA as an authorized CSOS user. The 12th and 13th causes for discipline were only against Bruce Pharmacy. The 14th cause for discipline is that petitioner maintained misbranded and adulterated medications for sale, in that board inspectors found over 20 different prescription medications contained in bubble packs and prescription vials with significant errors on the labels. The 15th cause for discipline was the inappropriate furnishing of dangerous drugs, in that in 49 separate incidents within just 3 months in the summer of 2019 were transferred, it was documented that there was some sort of sale or exchange or trade of over 486 different dangerous drugs between petitioner, the downtown Stockton pharmacy, and then another pharmacy, the Stockton Clinic Pharmacy. Now, I will note here that the Stockton Clinic Pharmacy was not a respondent in this matter. However, it appears that petitioner also had hidden ownership of that pharmacy, as petitioner maintained copies of this pharmacy's power of attorney and CSOS application. He transferred the drugs to this pharmacy, as just described. He had also transferred drugs from this pharmacy, purchased drugs through this pharmacy that were then dispensed by petitioner's pharmacy without any documentation of such transfer. And then finally, petitioner had purchased a handbook of policies and procedures for this Stockton Clinic Pharmacy and was listed as the main contact person for professional liability insurance at that pharmacy. Now, this pharmacy will come up once more during the causes for discipline, but I really don't have any other additional information about it and its structure. Now, the 16th cause for discipline is that petitioner committed fraudulent billing of prescriptions. In that, petitioner documented dispensing and billing approximately 600 dosage units of 3 different drugs without having sufficient inventory to have actually done so. This likely also goes into the issues of transferring drugs between these 4 pharmacies without having documentation in any way. But overall, petitioner didn't purchase these drugs and somehow still dispensed and billed for over 600 dosage units. The 17th cause for discipline was only against respondent Downtown Stockton Pharmacy and its purported owner and PIC for improperly selling, exchanging, and trading over 333 different dangerous drugs and supplies with petitioner. The 18th cause for discipline was also solely against respondent Downtown Stockton Pharmacy and its purported owner and PIC for failing to retain the hard copies, 8 original prescriptions. Those prescription hard copies that were allegedly sent to and filled by Downtown Stockton Pharmacy were found at Anchor Pharmacy. The 19th through 24th causes for discipline are also solely against Downtown Stockton Pharmacy and its purported owner and PIC, and include such things as failing to maintain accurate prescription records, in that pharmacy technicians were documented as being the pharmacist or dispensing pharmacist on over 500 prescription records, failing to maintain accurate prescription transfer records, we've talked about that already, fraudulent billing, failing to offer consultation to patients, having a pharmacy technician with an expired license continue to do technician duties. This pharmacy also altered the pharmacy's self-assessment with incorrect information by indicating that 2 of the staff members no longer worked there, when they were actually both still active in the computer system, and one of them was present at the time of the board's inspection and assisted the board's inspectors. The 25th cause for discipline is the hidden ownership of at least the Downtown Stockton Pharmacy and the Stockton Clinic Pharmacy. It appears the petitioner used the other respondents with the same last name, Touch Oop, to obtain pharmacy licenses for those 2 pharmacies in an attempt to support and grow Anchor Pharmacy. The evidence has been discussed in the various causes for discipline above, but also include the extensive documents from both of these 2 pharmacies that were found at Anchor Pharmacy. There was also the selling, trading, and furnishing of nearly 1,000 dangerous drugs between the 3 pharmacies as though they were one entity, and rarely documented. And then something not mentioned before, the board inspectors actually found Downtown Stockton Pharmacy's unopened envelope from the DEA of the DEA 222 controlled substance ordering forms. So there's no reason that those ordering forms should have been found at Anchor Pharmacy. They should have been at downtown Stockton Pharmacy. But petitioner was just clearly the contact person for the DEA for all 4 of the pharmacies, despite the fact that he allegedly only owned and was only the PIC of Anchor Pharmacy. That is the last cause for discipline. In aggravation in the accusation, it is listed that petitioner had received a citation just before all of this began for other violations of state and federal regulations governing pharmacies. So petitioner was on notice that he was not following the laws, and he continued to flagrantly violate just about every pharmacy law you can imagine. So petitioner entered into a stipulated settlement with the board for a 5-year probation term. This became effective on July 14th of 2021. However, petitioner did not become employed sufficiently to satisfy the probation terms for the first 2 months, and therefore his probation would be extended for those 2 months, and it is currently set to expire on September 7th of 2026. So petitioner is eligible to apply for this relief today. Now, as for the petition itself, petitioner has been completely compliant with probation. According to information from the board, there are $875 of board costs remaining outstanding. And it is my understanding that petitioner was ordered to be jointly and severally liable for $35,000 in board costs. He was jointly and severally liable with the other respondent, Touch Boop. Petitioner has paid at least $33,000, so I presume that the other OOP has paid some of the other amounts. With his petition, petitioner has provided the following documents. There was a letter to the board by petitioner asking that this petition be granted. There was proof of completion of the ethics course that was ordered in the probation. There are continuing education certificates for 50 hours taken from December of 2022 through February of 2025. There were a few other hours in the summary that were from prior to December of 2022. There were 10 letters of recommendation, all of which were able to be verified by board staff. Petitioner also provided his work schedule from September of 2021 through December of 2024. This was each month's work schedule. Petitioner provided his request for a payment plan of $750 per month until his last payment of $500, which will be due on June 20th of 2025. Petitioner provided the declaration that he signed acknowledging that the terms and conditions of probation were fully explained to him. He also provided 2 letters regarding payment of the probation monitoring costs, which petitioner has never hesitated to pay in full and has been completely compliant with. Next, there were some mental health progress notes indicating the petitioner has made progress through some mental health treatment. Petitioner provided the remedial education guidelines for his probation terms and proof of completion of same. Petitioner provided all of his quarterly reports from September of 2022 through October of 2024. There were also 5 requests by petitioner to reduce his supervision hours. Those were gradually reduced from 50% at the beginning to now it's just a daily review. And petitioner provided a picture that would appear to be him giving a vaccine to another individual. Now, a word on the letters of recommendation. These 10 letters of recommendation are frankly outstanding. Each of the people who wrote these clearly knows petitioner well and thinks very highly of him. None of these are form letters. None of them appear to have been written by petitioner and merely signed by the writer. They all appear to just echo over and over that petitioner is an excellent pharmacist and is an excellent member of the community. One refrain, however, that echoes over and over is that petitioner has always tried to do too much. He has tried to take on too much work, too many community activities, too many volunteer positions, and he doesn't give himself enough time to live, have any sort of work-life balance, or to tend to his family. My only concern in all of these letters that I want to highlight for the board is with what one of the writers told board staff when that letter was verified. This was the letter from Adam Kay, a licensed pharmacist, who said that when petitioner acquired his pharmacy in Stockton, that he had, quote, hired a lot of people, and unfortunately, some were on probation and not looking out for petitioner's best interests. This is a pretty strong deflection of petitioner's responsibility for all of the conduct outlined above, and it indicates to me that petitioner has not been completely honest with Dr. K about the full extent of his culpability in this matter. So at this time, I would like to identify Exhibit 1 as the petition packet consisting of all of the documents I've just identified. It also includes a memorandum to the board, a acknowledgement of the electronic recording, and the underlying decision and order in this matter. So I will ask the ALJ for the petition to be admitted for all purposes, but I would like to request that pages 69 through 82 and number 111 are only taken under seal. 69 and 82 are the mental health progress notes. They include petitioner's date of birth, his medical record number, and personal mental health evaluation information. And number 111 has a picture in which several other individuals are readily identifiable.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jarvis. Let me just double check. Is it pages 69 through 82, did you say? And then 111 as well?
And then 111, correct.
Thank you very much. Any objection, Bruce, to admitting what's been marked as Exhibit 1, the entire packet, and then with those specified pages being admitted under seal?
No objection.
Thank you very much. So Exhibit 1 is admitted. I will issue a protective order that will place pages 69 through 82 and 111 under seal for the reasons Ms. Jarvis stated. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Anything else from you, Ms. Jarvis, at this time?
No, at this time, I will cede the floor to the petitioner.
Thank you very much. All right, Bruce, now is your opportunity as the petitioner to provide information in support of your petition. Again, I'll just remind you, obviously the board, the committee members have had an opportunity to review all of this information, and we'll review that as part of discussions again. But you may wish to highlight or emphasize and add information you think is relevant. Would you like to testify in support of your petition?
Yes, I wrote a narrative that I want to read because I'm quite nervous to the, to you and to the Deputy Attorney General and the members of the board.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you raise your right hand and I'll swear you in first before you do that. So could you do that for me? Do you solemnly state under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. Just state and spell your full name for the record now that you're testifying as a witness.
Bunan Bruce Uch.
Thank you. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so sorry. Bunnaun, Bruce, Bruce, Uch, Uch.
Thank you very much. So you can certainly read the statement if you'd like. Just don't go too fast. Sometimes when people are nervous and they're reading a statement, they go fast. It'll be helpful for me because I might take some notes of it, and board committee members may do the same. So just read nice and slow for us. And then, of course, if there's anything else you'd like to add, that's fine. When you're done with your presentation, Ms. Jarvis may have questions for you, and the committee members may have questions for you at that time. All right. You can go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time. Your Honor, Deputy Attorney General Christina Jarvis, and members of the Board of Pharmacy, I appreciate being able to appear before you to present my petition for early termination of probation. In April of 2021, I entered into a stipulated settlement and disciplinary order regarding the revocation of my pharmacy license. My license revocation was stayed, and I received 5 years probation. For more than 3 years of my probation, I have been commuting from Stockton, where I live, to Yuba City, where I have worked at Safe Pharmacy under Dr. Tang. With his guidance and support, I have gained valuable experience in the running of a pharmacy, improving my skill as a pharmacist, and maintaining a balance between my professional and personal life. During this time, I have been guided by Inspector James Flores, who has provided me with advice on pharmacy laws and requirements during his quarterly visits. In fact, in his most recent inspection on April 29, 2025, he stated the pharmacy is exceeding current requirements with controlled substance reconciliations. I am very grateful for his professionalism and guidance. In late 2014, while working as a pharmacist in charge at a Stockton Walgreens, the owner of a local independent said he was looking to retire and if I was interested in taking over his business. He suggested that I should leave the chain and instead serve the Cambodian community. I took a leap of faith and purchased a pharmacy staffed by myself and one clerk. The pharmacy grew quickly as word spread that a Cambodian pharmacist was able to help those that only spoke Khmer, the language of my birthplace. As the pharmacy grew, I became partners with a non-pharmacist. We bought another pharmacy as an investment. I helped with the pharmacy operation and hired a PIC, allowing him to run the store. The new business led to mistakes such as not creating strong policies and procedures and following up on the details associated with the transfer of ownership. Record keeping and paperwork, along with the DEA, Controlled Substance Ordering System paperwork, were not coordinated properly. At the same time, I was trying to bring in new business and expecting my expanded staff to get up to speed. Despite not being properly trained, I take responsibility for not having the proper procedures in place. While attempting to learn the pharmacy business, I made a mistake in accepting an offer to take over a bubble pack business from an owner of another local pharmacy. I didn't know anything about the long-term care or board and care pharmacy, but I accepted the opportunity anyway and acquired 4 of his senior employees to handle the operation. I failed to consider the challenges that come with adding staff and multiple group homes, clients, and I did not account for the inventory. I simply paid what the owner said was the total inventory for the months of pre-filled trays that he had verified. It was a challenge to supervise the new technicians, so I allowed the former owner to supervise that part of the operation. I did not create appropriate work processes and allowed the techs to run their workflow as they had done previously. In hindsight, I was overwhelmed. There were also prescription billing rejects that were ignored. Rejected billings would require a request for a TAR, treatment authorization request, to be faxed to Medi-Cal for approval. Without a doubt, many of these were never processed, leading to loss in revenues. I did not understand the professional demands, stress, and pressure of assuming the care home business. I also naively had 2 separate computer systems without having inventory or dispensing records transferred to our new pharmacy operating system upon purchase of the old business. This led to a lack of consistent billing or medications. I should have been more involved in the process of having the staff learn the new computer processes better and the importance of billing for medications. I understand now that my lack of knowledge of the bubble pack business could have been detrimental to the patient had Inspector Patricia Peterson not done her due diligence and identified the deficiencies in our pharmacy operations. I am grateful for her work in helping us make corrections for the problems she identified. The causes of discipline attached to my name and my license were painful and difficult, but I accept responsibility as the owner and as the pharmacist in charge. Over the course of operating my pharmacy, I neglected many aspects of documentation, which are summarized in the stipulated settlement and disciplinary order. I have learned since then and now more fully appreciate the importance of the detail and legal compliance required in running a pharmacy. I realized I did not have the necessary training or experience to operate my own pharmacy, and I was naive in thinking my prior experience working for corporate pharmacy employers would be sufficient. I regret that I did not proactively seek sufficient training before starting out on my own. I've also learned that as a pharmacist in charge, I cannot rely on staff, technicians, or anyone other than myself to ensure that all processes and procedures are fully and correctly implemented. I cannot assume that staff, regardless of experience, understand all legal requirements and will carry them out. I have learned that the pharmacy business is one of lifelong learning. I am responsible for learning any new legal requirements applicable to pharmacy management and for maintaining compliance. I have learned to make the most of the resources available, such as the Board of Pharmacy website, publications, and resource personnel. I take responsibility for the events leading to my probation. I was naive and overly optimistic regarding my abilities. During my probation, I took the PBI ethics course. It taught me to look for risk factors and build boundaries. These responsibilities are also a lifelong pursuit. I am currently working 90 to 110 hours per month for Dr. Tang. I have learned a great deal during these years on probation, focusing on paying attention to details. He advised me to focus on the laws so that I would be ready when the time comes. I have helped and strengthened his pharmacy policy and procedures documentation, revised his Board of Pharmacy binder, written and added quality assurance paperwork. I have also added descriptions of pharmacist, technician, and clerk duties and responsibility. I am in the process of obtaining a CSOC certificate for one of his senior staff. I endeavor to make things concise and clear. I've been trusted to make sure we return to stock on a timely basis. He often asks me to run acquisitions and dispositions reports and to investigate any variants. We use a vivid counting machine which scans labels and drug NDC and effectively eliminate errors. Finally, I set up a med project for patients to dispose of expired or unwanted medications and assure that it's fully compliant with the DEA and Board of Pharmacy requirements. I have done a lot of self-reflection during my time on probation. Personally, I meditate and exercise daily. Professionally, I read the self-assessment and the Board of Pharmacy publications, the script. Perhaps if I had been reading the script more often prior to opening a business, I would have been more aware of the magnitude of that responsibility. I also listen to podcasts on how to have more confidence. And so we come to my request for early termination of probation. I asked for this early termination of probation to move ahead with my life as a pharmacist, a father, and a husband. As a pharmacist, I have no desire to own any pharmacy again. This experience has taught me to not ever do it again. I will continue to work for Hang for as long as he will have me. I am a conservator to my 23-year-old son, Jared, who is autistic and nonverbal. My wife, Sophie, with 2 strokes event, most recent being last year, February 2024, still working and supporting the family. She would like to retire soon, so I would like to take over now. I believe having the broader employment opportunities that come with early termination of probation will help me advance my life professionally and personally. Thank you for your time, Your Honor, and Deputy Attorney General and the board panel. I'd be happy to clarify some of the, all of the violation. That'd be it on my my narrative. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Bruce. I appreciate that. First, I'm going to see whether Ms. Jarvis has questions for you, and then I'll turn to the individual board members. Ms. Jarvis, do you have questions for the petitioner?
I do, Your Honor.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ook, can you explain who is Touch Ook to you?
Touch Ook is my brother, and I'm very close with him. We discuss about. He's my brother.
And he was also placed on probation through this process?
Yes, Deputy Attorney General.
And you just mentioned that you would continue working at the pharmacy where you're currently employed in Yuba City for as long as they'll have you. Would you ever open a pharmacy or own a pharmacy in the future? I
wish do not ever go that route again or step into that hole, that pothole again. I will not. However, though the law, the requirements, everything that I've learned through probation, I know everything about it. If someone wanted to ask me for consultations and whatnot, I know all the processes and procedures.
Now, when you are working at the pharmacy where you're currently employed, that's up in Yuba City, and do you still reside in Stockton?
Yes.
So that's quite a commute. You would continue doing that commute? You wouldn't be looking for work closer to home?
So I like the 2 to 3 days a week. You know, it gives me for right now time to reflect, time to spend with family. And yes, I enjoy the drive. It's a straight drive from I-5 all the way to 99 and Calusa Avenue. It's an hour and change.
Now, you heard me mention earlier the letter from Dr. K, the licensed pharmacist, who said that when you had acquired the pharmacy, you had hired a lot of people. Some of those were on probation and not looking out for your best interests. Do you know where Dr. K would have gotten that idea?
Yeah, I do not. You know, Dr. K, you know, he's you know, he has the ability to look at my violation on the website, and I did inform him of doing so. And he's a professor at UOP, and he's also a pharmacist that works for the state. I mean, he knows about the case. I do not know what he was alluding to. I did hire a lot of people, and you know, you know, I tried to help everyone that came in and get them to the system. You know, specifically the pharmacist that was on probation, and you know, they asked for help, and I took them in, and you know, here we are.
So, to be clear, as you sit here today, do you accept responsibility for the conduct that led to the accusation that I outlined earlier?
Absolutely, 100%.
Now, prior to opening these pharmacies, you had worked at Walgreens, is that right?
Yes.
And had you worked there for your entire career?
Yes, I have worked there for 17, almost 18 years. I was.
And had you ever been the PIC, or were you the PIC at the time, or were you a staff pharmacist?
I was a staff pharmacist for about 12 years, and then the last 4 or 5, I was, you know, they asked for, you know, me to be a pharmacist in charge, and I did it.
And as the pharmacist in charge at Walgreens, were you responsible for ensuring that your pharmacy, you know, stayed within pharmacy laws?
100%. You know, when I was at Walgreens, you know, everything that was set up by Walgreens, the corporate pharmacy, they've done for you. Everything from laws, rules, layout, everything they've done for you. And all I have to do is just put on a coat and a name tag and clock in, and just be a good person, be a good pharmacist. And I was great at it. And I did a lot of precepting at the store. And I did win the 2015 year Preceptor of the Year award for that. And I enjoyed that very much. You did ask if I, you know, if I find some, you know, if, you know, why would I continue to drive all the way there? But you know, again, if an opportunity comes up, I will carefully evaluate, you know, my opportunity if that time comes. And I would like to work with students again. Currently, with a restricted license, I am unable to teach precept.
And then one last question. What is your relationship, or was your relationship, with Lee Kwan Lim, the technician who was 50% owner of Bruce Pharmacy and then became full owner?
Lee was still is a childhood friend. We were both immigrants from Cambodia. You know, you know, our family and I are close, and so we to answer your question, we're childhood friends. We're both an immigrant from Cambodia.
So if I have the timeline right, it looks like you left Walgreens to open this pharmacy, the Bruce Pharmacy, with Lee in around 2017. And then you left that pharmacy and he became 100% owner. And then you opened Anchor Pharmacy. What was the process for that? Why were there so many pharmacies involved here?
Yeah, I actually, if I heard you correctly, I opened Anchor Pharmacy first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you had opened Anchor and then you went in with Lee to open Bruce?
Pharmacy, yes.
Okay. So what was the purpose of opening the second pharmacy when you already had Anchor Pharmacy?
We we wanted to service the community, and that pharmacy, I had a good relationship with some of the doctors nearby, and they asked me to put a pharmacy there together, and Lee and I agreed, and here we are. Yeah, we did that.
Okay. And then once the Bruce Pharmacy closed, that's when your brother, Touch Oop, decided to open the downtown Stockton Pharmacy, but you were also involved in that opening.
Yes. So when we took on the bubble pack business, we had almost 400 patients of bubble pack that was transferred to Anchor Pharmacy, and I didn't have any room to take care of packs. It was just a lot, and so I discussed it with Tooch, and and he agreed. So he he agreed to take over the bubble pack, and he and I are close, and so we and it wasn't. I didn't need to put my name on the on all of the pharmacies, and he agreed to take over and to move the patients from Angkor to downtown because it had a bigger space, and he got it approved, and I did the paperwork, and it didn't go out too well.
I have no other questions at this time, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jarvis. Let me turn to our board members now. Starting with you, Dr. Crowley, do you have any questions for petitioner?
Thank you, Your Honor. If you don't mind, I'll actually go last.
That's perfectly fine. I'll come back to you. How about you, Mr. Newell?
Just briefly, tell me about some of the paperwork that was described. For example, the self-assessment was described as being fraudulent. Can you tell me about that? What prompted it? How did it happen?
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. So the self-assessment at that time, I helped Tooch looking at from A through Z, from page 1 all the way to page, I think, 52, and then at the very end, then all he had to do was just reread what I highlighted and sign. Apparently, he signed it, and then the the names or the staff. One of the papers said, "Who are the staff working?" And it's been 4 years now. I don't remember whose name were on there, but at any rate, the name was on there, and apparently he looked at it and said, this person isn't working anymore, and so he whited out with whiteout, and just state this person no longer work here. But then at that time, they needed some help, and then that particular individual was just called to to do some house cleaning or some duties as a technicians back there. I don't know what they were doing back there, but at any rate, that's how it happened with the self-assessment. But I didn't know that was against the law and whatnot, but it just looks really bad, just wiping out and having the name crossed out or white out, and then no longer work here, and then that person would just happen to be there. Again, which is a mistake.
Okay. And secondly, this will be my last question for now.
So,
The 268,000 promethazines that went out, as well as the number of other drugs that were unaccounted for and or misaccounted for, are we to assume that that's the fault of technicians because you overhired, or what? Help me understand how that can happen. Like, knowing you went to school for this, so knowing that,
yes.
just please help me understand how that happens. Like the succession of events for that to happen repeatedly.
It's a hard concept to swallow, Mr. Newell. There were just a lot of people working, and I'm just running around all over the place talking to doctors, and the staff there sign, the pharmacist they're supposed to sign, or they sign the invoices, and they go in and out, and that's really the best explanation I can give. I don't know what happened back then at that time. I just know that there's a lot of promethazine, as alluded by Patricia Peterson, Inspector Patricia Peterson, and when we did the acquisition disposition, they just didn't match up, and so it just seems like it's just bad things all over the place, and I apologize.
No more questions for me right now.
Thank you very much. Mr. Sanchez, did you have any questions?
No, I didn't have any questions.
All right, thank you. How about you, Dr. Serpa?
Yes, thank you. Dr. Uch, I was wondering if you had reviewed the board's new information that we have for PICs and training. Have you seen that material?
Yes. And I thought I sent that to Mr. Raymond Flores. I did the certificate,
Okay.
and I did the webinar, and I sent the certificate to him. I thought he had it.
No, so that's perfectly fine. My question is more about, what do you think about that information, and how could that have changed the trajectory of what happened to you and being a new PIC? What do you think that material could do to help pharmacists in the future? And could have helped you?
100%. The law is very important. When I did my 17 years, or prior to owning a business, my job was just to be a good pharmacist, and about the only thing that I did was just the 30 hours of continuing education requirements to satisfy my license on a 2-year basis, and it was a mistake. I need to read the publications. I need to go to webinars. I need to do more, than just going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home, and not understanding everything outside of the circle. But yes, the certificate that I just completed it's very important. I think that every pharmacist, whether they're pharmacist in charge or just a regular pharmacist staff, they need to take the training. Mm-hmm. And if they don't fully understand the full scope of it, do it twice, do it 3 times, or I recommend it.
And then lastly, hopefully you'll be able to precept students sometime in the future.
Absolutely.
What would you explain to them what a PIC is? How would you define it to them so that you could get them off on the right foot?
Absolutely. So, being a pharmacist in charge is not just about knowing all the laws. Managing people to know or learn about the laws is I think is probably the most important piece. You could read the self-assessment, you could go through the script, you could go through the Board of Pharmacy publications. Average people will probably understand it 20 to 30%. For me, having gone through all of this as Deputy Attorney General Christina Jarvis alluded to, it's, you know, I'm so nervous. I mean, like, I mean, I don't want anyone to go through that. So I will teach them not to go through those potholes. And again, just me telling them isn't just good enough, but them looking it up for themselves and then back it up with another board inspector or something of that sort to have them learn. I recommend that. So, and that's what I would do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Serpa. And Dr. Crowley, back to you. Any questions?
Thank you, Your Honor. Most of them have been answered, and I know you touched on this a little bit, just in terms of, you know, mentioning that you do meditate regularly, you listen to podcasts, and kind of the theme of you taking on too much has come up. And so I wonder if you can just kind of elaborate a little bit on what your process is now, just based on your experience, on making sure that you're not taking on too much. You strike me as someone who is always trying to help people in your community. And so how have you learned, or have you learned to assert yourself and say no? And how do you decide when to say yes to something and when you're just, when you don't have the capacity to do something?
Very good question. Thank you so much. You know, the ethics course, you know, they talk about boundaries. You know, boundaries I never had. I was always been a yes person. You know, doesn't matter if it's 11 at night or 1 a.m. I say yes. So now I look at myself in the mirror, to be honest, and every time I drive, I hold on the rear mirror and just look at myself and tell myself, what in the world have you done to yourself? And so, with that being said, learning to say no is right now. I'm still in the learning process, by the way. It's quite easy, you know, if it doesn't suits my priorities, and if it can hang on to the next day or the next 5 days, I have to accept that it's okay to say no. And that's how I do it. And of course, taking care of myself. The exercise is very important. The diet is very important. The mental health and the friendship that I have, as alluded with the letters, the support group from UOP, it's very important. So that's how I keep up myself right now.
Thank you very much, Bruce. I appreciate you taking the time today. I know this isn't easy at all, and you did great. You didn't come across as nervous, so I hope you continue to build your confidence. And I don't have any other questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, Dr. Crowley. Let me just make sure that everyone has had their questions addressed. Ms. Jarvis, was there anything else from you?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Any other board members want another opportunity to ask a question? It doesn't look that way, so I think that's good. Bruce, I'll give you, since it's your burden on the petition, is there anything else you want to add before you finish your testimony for the hearing today?
I do not, Your Honor. I think some of the supporters would like to say a few words. I'll hand that over to them. I think that would suffice.
All right. And who do you have here that would like to testify on your behalf? Just so I think the moderator may need to
Yes, it's Dr. Ali Tran, and I think there might be another guy, Sophia Ung, if he's on there, but I'm unsure.
And I just promoted each of those individuals. So would you like to take Dr. Ali Tran first?
Tran, yes, Dr. Tran, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you very well. Thank you, sir. Before you start your statement, I'm just going to have you sworn in as well. If you could just raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly state under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. Please state and spell your full name for the record.
Yeah. I'm Dr. Ali Tran. My first name A-L-I. Last name Tran, T-R-A-N.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tran. And you can go ahead and give the statement. I know you were trying to give the statement earlier during the meeting and we held you off since it related to the specific item on the agenda, but now is your opportunity to share anything you'd like in support of the petitioner. Thank you.
Thank you.
One quick moment. Chair Crowley, did you want to have this person enable their camera, or is that optional?
If you're able to have your camera on, I think that would be preferred.
Dr. Tran, if along the bottom row of your computer screen, there should be a start video. There you go. And we see a desktop.
Okay, thank you.
It might need to be switched. We see your desktop, but not your face.
Okay, one moment.
Thank you.
Sorry, I don't know how to operate this.
Okay.
So camera looking at you.
Some cameras have a button where it looks like it's flipping, and it might be able to flip from front view to back view.
No, that's the wrong way.
All right, Dr. Crowley, I will defer to you.
Okay, well, I can survey board members, or are we okay proceeding if we can't get everyone on video? Are you okay with that? Sorry, I can't see everyone.
Got a nod from Dr. Serpa and a thumbs up from Mr. Newell.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, we're okay moving forward then.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Tran. You can continue.
Yeah. Bruce and I have been friends since we're pre-farm at UOP. I have worked in this industry for 30 years. What I can vouch for you today, on behalf of Bruce, he is a good pharmacist, a very caring pharmacist. I have worked with him before. I have watched him, how he thoroughly check each prescription, how he go out his way for each patient that he's encountered, the way he give consultation to each member, make sure they walk away without any hesitation or any confusion how to take the medication, or when they come home, can they combine with other medication. So with 30-year practicing, I can vouch for you. He is a good pharmacist. He is a caring pharmacist. He makes a difference every time he put on that badge, every time he go out serve the public. In my honest opinion, he is no threat to the public. So hopefully he can regain his status so he can continue to be a good pharmacist. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tran. Let me see if there are questions for you from the Attorney General and from the board members. Ms. Jarvis, do you have any questions? All right, thank you. Let's see, Mr. Newell, do you have any questions? No questions. No questions. All right, thank you, sir. How about you, Mr. Sanchez?
No questions for him.
All right, thank you. And Dr. Serpa?
No questions, Your Honor.
And Dr. Crowley?
No questions, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Dr. Tron, we appreciate your time and testimony today. Thank you so much.
Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Wonderful. And then I believe, Bruce, you had one other person identified potentially. Let's just make sure who that was.
His name is Satya Ung. I am unsure if he's on there or not. I don't have to see that on your screen.
All right. Could the
Yes.
moderator promote?
There he is. Yeah, I see him now.
Okay, great. And do you have the ability? Is it Mr. Ung to turn your camera on?
Yes, I've just moved him to the stage and his camera is on.
Perfect. Let me see. Maybe it's on my end. Oh, perfect. Now I can see. Very good. Thank you. Is it Dr. Ung or Mr. Ung? I just want to make sure I appropriately address you.
Yeah, I will go with Mr. Ong, Your Honor.
Mr. Ung. All right. All right. Good morning, sir. First thing I'm going to do is have you raise your right hand and I'll swear you in. Do you solemnly state under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you so much. Please state and spell your full name for the record.
Yeah, my full name is Sothea, Sothea. My last name, Ong, U-N-G.
Thank you very much. And so you can just go ahead and give your statement that you'd like to make in support of the petitioner. And then after that, the Attorney General may have questions and the board members may have questions for you. So go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my view on this for Bruce. I know Bruce for over 10 years. I'm working full-time at one nonprofit in Stockton called APSARA in acronym. The full name is Asian Pacific Self-Development and Residential Association. And I also reside in Stockton for over 10 years now. Bruce, he's a very good person. As far as I know, he's been very involved helping with the school that he's been taught in UOP. And he also, besides his work, he also volunteer and help the community as much as he could. The point that I want to point out today is that Bruce has a very unique relationship with the community that he serves, because Bruce, by far, he's the only one from Cambodian refugee pharmacist in Stockton, as far as I know, that have the ability to communicate in Khmer, or Cambodian, or English and other language, but he say he speaks Spanish fluently as well. So, and his unique relationship is that he have the background as refugee, and he know community really well because he living in Stockton all his time. I believe that since the late 1980 until now. So it's over 40 years. So most of the community member that you can count off, from senior to high school student or to the college student that in UOP or in around this area, know Bruce. And Bruce, another unique experience that I have with Bruce, that Bruce would come to the community and provide consultation or explain about medication in Khmer directly to the patient, which is very unique opportunity for us, or especially for me, that I'm serving the community and have that kind of relationship or ability that he could come to the community, because it's very difficult to get other community, even though they can come, but they still need the translator because they do not speak the language. And another thing is the culture and also the barrier. other barrier that involve Your Honor and all the panel in the board. You might know that Cambodians have the genocide in 1970 that killed almost 3 million people at that time. So majority of almost all of the refugees from Cambodia that reside in the United States have severe mental illness, especially PTSD. So when they see the pharmacists or when they see any authority that have the uniform or it come in the authority, they will scare and they do not, normally they will say yes, they will knock their head and they will not ask question because it intimidates them. And that is because of the trauma they've been through. But when Bruce come, that trauma is not come at all. So Bruce can have a regular communication, a conversation, and it make the transition, it made the education or workshop or whatever we do, like the vaccine clinic or anything we do in the community, more effective and easy, and also help it. It been help a lot of people health and a lot of people's life. So by allowing him or give him back the ability to do as before, that would be tremendous help to the community, and especially for the community that I serve is a Cambodian community in Stockton. That would be, we were grateful and we were very thankful to that. And I quite emotional when Bruce explained what he'd been through, because we not communicate frequently, but this is really yeah, he's been through a lot, and I believe that he will make a difference. And thank you so much for allowing me to share this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ung, for being here and for your words. Appreciate it. Let me see. Ms. Jarvis, do you have any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
All right, let's just go to our board members. Mr. Newell, any questions from you?
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sanchez?
Mr. Ung, if there's one thing you could change about Mr. Bruce, or advice you could give him to continue in this profession, what would that be?
I would say that self-care is most important, and he been trying doing it, and also I know that that he do his best, but I would say another advice would say that he continue keep the training, he continue keep self-learning, and I believe that he will doing great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. Dr. Serpa, do you have any questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. And how about you, Dr. Crowley?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And I think that concludes your testimony. Thank you so much, Mr. Ung. We really appreciate your being here. Let's see, go back to you, Bruce. Anyone else that needed to testify that we haven't gotten to yet?
No, that's it.
All right, and you're satisfied? I think you've presented all the evidence you wish in support of the petition, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and Ms. Jarvis, anything else from you? Maybe is Ms. Jarvis?
I'm just closing, Your Honor.
Just closing. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. All right, so that concludes the evidence portion of the hearing. We'll move to any closings the parties would like to provide. Mr. or Bruce, the closing is really just where you have an opportunity to summarize the evidence in support of your petition and what you would like the committee to do. You don't have to give a closing argument if you don't want to, but I always give parties an opportunity to do so. Why don't I have you go first, Ms. Jarvis, just so you can summarize your recommendation, et cetera, and then he can respond to any of that he would like. Go ahead, Ms. Jarvis. Thank you.
Thank you. Based on the causes for discipline set forth in the accusation, quite frankly, petitioner seems too dangerous to be allowed a license at all, even on probation, which he currently is. However, I have been impressed by his petition and his presentation today, and therefore at this time I have no recommendation and I will defer to the expertise of the board. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jarvis. Bruce, would you like to make a closing statement or closing argument?
Yeah, I do not have any, Your Honor. Thank you so much for the time for allowing me to present my presentation, and thank you so much for everyone.
Thank you very much for being here. We definitely appreciated hearing from you. So that will conclude the petition hearing in this matter. The record is now closed. The case is submitted for decision, and we are off the record in this matter. I'll turn it back over to you, Dr. Crowley.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Okay, so moving on to agenda item 4, closed session. I would like to thank members of the public for your participation today. As indicated on the agenda, the committee will now convene in closed session. Adjournment for the day will immediately follow closed session, and there will be no other items of business discussed. Adjournment will be broadcast, and members of the public, I thank you for joining the meeting today.